In the realm of rock guitar, virtuosity is often measured by speed, precision, and sheer technical prowess. But for some, it's about more than just flashy solos and complex chord progressions. It's about channeling emotion, telling stories through six strings, and leaving an indelible mark on the music world. Vivian Campbell, the Northern Irish guitarist who has graced the stages with Dio, Def Leppard, and many others, embodies this spirit. Today, we embark on a journey through his remarkable career, exploring his triumphs, his challenges, and the complex relationships that have shaped his musical legacy. But first, let's go back to the beginning. Born in Belfast, Northern Ireland in 1962, Vivian Campbell's passion for music ignited at an early age. Inspired by the likes of Jimi Hendrix, Rory Gallagher, and Gary Moore, he picked up the guitar and quickly discovered his natural talent. In his teens, he formed his first band, Sweet Savage, which gained a devoted following in the local music scene. Campbell's big break came in 1983, when he was recruited by none other than Ronnie James Dio, the legendary vocalist who had fronted iconic bands like Black Sabbath and Rainbow. At just 21 years old, Campbell found himself thrust into the spotlight, joining Dio's newly formed solo band and contributing his fiery guitar work to their debut album, Holy Diver. Campbell's playing on Holy Diver was nothing short of spectacular. His soaring solos and intricate riffs perfectly complemented Dio's powerful vocals, and his youthful energy brought a fresh dynamic to the band. The album was a massive success, establishing Dio as a major force in the heavy metal scene and solidifying Campbell's reputation as a rising guitar star. The following year saw Campbell continue to shine with Dio, contributing to acclaimed albums like The Last in Line and Sacred Heart. His guitar work became synonymous with the band's sound, and his onstage presence captivated audiences around the world. However, behind the scenes, tensions were brewing. Campbell, growing increasingly frustrated with what he perceived as financial mismanagement and a lack of creative control, began to clash with Dio and his wife manager, Wendy. The initial honeymoon period of Campbell's time with Dio, however, began to sour during the Sacred Heart tour in 1986. Behind the scenes, tensions were simmering. Campbell, young and ambitious, grew increasingly frustrated with what he perceived as financial mismanagement and a stifling lack of creative control within the band. In interviews, Campbell has been candid about his concerns, stating that the band members were promised a greater share of the profits after the first few albums, a promise that seemingly went unfulfilled. He felt that the band's management, headed by Dio's wife Wendy, was prioritizing profits over the well-being and creative satisfaction of the musicians. This discontent boiled over during the tour, with Campbell becoming more vocal about his grievances. His outspokenness did not sit well with Dio, who was known for his strong leadership and control over his band's direction. The final straw came when Campbell publicly criticized the band's decision to incorporate extravagant stage props and special effects into their live shows, including a giant animatronic dragon. He felt these theatrics detracted from the music and were a symptom of the band's misplaced priorities. The clash of wills between the young guitarist and the seasoned frontman reached a breaking point. In a move that shocked fans in the music industry, Campbell was abruptly fired from Dio midway through the Sacred Heart tour. The official reason given was musical differences, but the underlying tensions and Campbell's outspokenness undoubtedly played a significant role. The dismissal left a void in the band's lineup and a trail of unanswered questions. Fans were left to speculate about the true reasons behind Campbell's departure, and the rift between him and Dio cast a shadow over the band's legacy. The rift between Campbell and Dio became a subject of much speculation and debate among fans. Campbell maintained that he was dismissed for speaking out against unfair business practices, while Wendy Dio claimed that he had become a negative influence on the band and had made disparaging remarks about Ronnie in the press. The truth, as is often the case, likely lies somewhere in between. Campbell, a young and ambitious musician, felt stifled by the band's rigid structure and sought more creative freedom. Dio, a seasoned veteran with a strong vision for his band, saw Campbell's dissent as a threat to his authority. The aftermath of the split was acrimonious, with both sides exchanging barbs in interviews and public statements. The wounds ran deep, and reconciliation seemed impossible. Sadly, the opportunity for closure never came. Ronnie James Dio passed away in 2010, leaving behind a legacy of powerful music and a complex relationship with one of his most talented collaborators. In the years since his departure from Dio, Campbell's talent and reputation didn't go unnoticed. In 1987, he joined the multi-platinum hard rock band Whitesnake, led by the charismatic David Coverdale. Campbell's time with Whitesnake was brief but impactful. He was brought in to replace guitarist John Sykes, who had also clashed with Coverdale during the recording of the band's self-titled 1987 album. Initially, Campbell was excited about the opportunity to join such a successful band and contribute to their new album. However, it soon became clear that the creative environment within Whitesnake was not what he had hoped for. Coverdale, known for his strong leadership and control over the band's direction, reportedly clashed with Campbell's desire for more creative input and a collaborative songwriting process. Campbell later described feeling like a hired gun, brought in to execute Coverdale's vision rather than being a true creative partner. The tension between the two musicians grew and Campbell's frustration mounted. He felt his talents were being underutilized and his contributions to the band were not being fully recognized. Ultimately, Campbell's time with Whitesnake came to an abrupt end. He was dismissed from the band before they even embarked on a tour to support the 1987 album. The official reason given was once again musical differences, but the underlying issues were clearly more complex and personal. Adrien Vandenberg offers a unique perspective on the dynamics at play. In a candid audio clip, Adrien sheds light on the factors that contributed to Vivian's departure. Let's hear what he has to say.
I heard from other people that he was kind of talking in interviews about me being the cause of him getting thrown out of Whitesnake. That was totally not the case, you know. I didn't even know that David decided to stop working with him until the tour manager told me, you know. I didn't know. I know the reasons, you know. The reason was very much Vivian's wife at the time, so I can say it now because they divorced. But his wife was a pain in the ass for our tour manager, for our management, for the light engineer, for the sound engineer. You know, she used to go to the sound engineer and go, "My husband is not loud enough in the mix," and then she would go to the light engineer, go, "My husband is not getting enough light on stage." And the bottom line was that the ideas, the song ideas that he presented to David told me later, you know, those were not the ideas that fit in Whitesnake. They were more suitable for bands like U2 and that kind of stuff. So those reasons put together were the reasons for David to stop working with Vivian, and I had nothing to do with it, you know. So yeah, I never got a chance to talk to Vivian about it. At some point, who knows, you know. But it bothered me a little bit because I'm not like that, you know.
Adrien's words offer a unique perspective on the situation. It seems that David Coverdale had a clear direction in mind for Whitesnake, and Vivian's style didn't quite align with that vision. Despite the short duration of his tenure, Campbell's impact on Whitesnake was undeniable. His departure, however, marked the end of a tumultuous chapter in his career and left him searching for a new musical home. Even after leaving Whitesnake, Vivian faced further challenges. His relationship with his former Dio bandmate, the legendary Ronnie James Dio, became strained. Vivian felt let down by Ronnie. In this 2019 interview with Planet Rock, Vivian opened up about the whole situation regarding his exit from Dio.
Bad divorce. I mean, Ronnie did make us a promise when it started that, you know, and we did work for next to nothing. I mean, you know, we didn't get any of the record sales or any of the merch or the ticket sales or anything. And, you know, the band was very successful. And so the deal was, Ronnie said, you know, I can't afford to pay you a lot. He says, I want to present it as a band. It's obviously the band's called Dio because of name recognition. But, you know, we wrote as a band, we presented as a band. And there was a real chemistry there, a real magic, you know, that's pretty evident on those first records. But the promise was made to us that by the third album, it would be more of an equitable situation. And I was a squeaky wheel. I mean, the third album came and I was the one going, excuse me.
Yeah.
And at this time, to be honest, Ronnie was in a real dark spot. It was when he and Wendy had split, and he really wasn't in a happy place in his life. I mean, we had a lot of fun on the first two records, on Holy Diver and Last in Line. And by the time we were doing the Sacred Heart album, nobody wanted to be in the studio anymore. You know, Ronnie's mood was really dark. For the first two records, everyone was there. Like, you didn't just leave when you did your parts. We were all supportive of each other. There was a genuine collective excitement going on. And I think that comes across in the records. Sacred Heart was a very dark time for Ronnie, and it was a very dark record for us to make. It was really, really difficult. And at the same time, I was kind of pushing for this promise to be fulfilled, you know? I didn't want to just let it slide. So anyway, I did the first American leg of the tour. I came back over this side of the pond to visit my family, because we were due to start here in the UK.
Yeah.
And that's when I got a FedEx that told me I was fired if I didn't sign a contract to work for nothing. So it happened, you know. It was kind of crappy the way it happened. It left a very bad taste in my mouth, and then Ronnie and I both made the mistake of bad-mouthing each other in the press, you know, so, which is never a good idea. But, you know, a lot of time has passed. A lot of things have happened. Ronnie's gone. You know, I let all of that go. And as a result of that, I was able to come back to the music. And for the first time in 30 something years, I could listen to it and have a whole different appreciation of it and approach toward it and really celebrate it. And you know, one thing that the biggest thing that I took from all of that was that it was as much Jimmy Bain's legacy, Vinny's, mine, as it was Ronnie's. You know, we created those records.
It was a band.
It was a band. It was very, very much a band. So I'm really, really happy to be out playing the music. I mean, it gives me great joy to be able to reclaim ownership of it, you know? So it's a joyous experience for me.
After his brief but impactful stint with Whitesnake, Campbell continued to explore his musical horizons. He played on Lou Gramm's of Foreigner fame solo album and joined the band River Dogs, contributing to their self-titled debut in 1990. He then briefly teamed up with Graham again in the band Shadow King, but their collaboration was short-lived. These experiences, while not as commercially successful as his previous ventures, allowed Campbell to further develop his songwriting and playing styles, setting the stage for his next major chapter. He joined Def Leppard in 1992, replacing the late Steve Clark and bringing his signature guitar style to the band's sound. Campbell's tenure with Def Leppard has been marked by both triumphs and challenges. He has contributed to several successful albums and tours, and his guitar playing has become an integral part of the band's live show. However, he has also faced personal struggles, including a battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Throughout it all, Campbell has remained a resilient and dedicated musician. He continues to push the boundaries of his playing, exploring new sounds and styles while staying true to his rock and roll roots. Time, however, has a way of healing old wounds and offering new perspectives. In the years since Ronnie James Dio's passing in 2010, Campbell has found a sense of peace and closure regarding his time in the band. He has spoken openly about his admiration for Dio's talent and the profound impact their collaboration had on his own musical development. This newfound appreciation has manifested in a beautiful way. Campbell has joined forces with former Dio bandmates Vinny Appice and Jimmy Bain, prior to his passing in 2016, to form the band Last in Line. This project serves as a tribute to the classic Dio era, allowing Campbell to revisit and celebrate the music that launched his career. With Last in Line, Campbell has found a way to honor Dio's legacy while also forging his own creative path. The band has released several albums of original material, showcasing Campbell's growth as a songwriter and guitarist, while also performing classic Dio songs with the passion and energy that first captivated fans decades ago. Vivian Campbell's journey through the world of rock and roll has been filled with both exhilarating highs and heartbreaking lows. From his early days with Sweet Savage to his iconic stints with Dio and Def Leppard, he has proven himself to be a guitarist of exceptional talent and unwavering dedication. His passion for music is unwavering, and his story serves as an inspiration to aspiring guitarists everywhere. And as long as there are guitars to be played and rock anthems to be sung, the legend of Vivian Campbell will continue to inspire and captivate music fans for generations to come. So there you have it, Rock Rebels, the life and career of the extraordinary Vivian Campbell. And now, we want to hear from you. What is your favorite Vivian Campbell era? Head over to our viewer poll now and leave us your vote and comment. Was it his blazing solos with Dio, His brief but impactful stint with Whitesnake? His enduring legacy with Def Leppard? Or his work with Lou Gramm and Shadow King? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more rock and roll content. Until next time, keep the music loud and the spirit of rock alive. And remember, rock rebels, live life loud.